feeling in your nose is like, well, there was gonna be a sneeze.
I think I can take care of that. Hold on. Just right behind your eye.
You just lobotomize me.
I think that's what he's going for.
I've made Josh a much more bearable person.
Whatever the group says is fine with me. Thank you, Josh.
Yes, Maria, as you said.
Preston just comes back. Hey, I like the new Josh.
Thank you. I like you too. Now this I get.
We're just removing something.
Help!
Are you good to continue?
Just doing my old man thing.
Yeah.
Mind switching it? Hopefully it no longer destroys itself. So, where last we left off, Korvac's mother was being plowed. No, but in realsies, hundreds, have already been converted.
It's pretty.
Your mom and
She's got at least 300.
fucky buddy, I think is the correct term that kids are using these days.
Fuck you, buddy.
Beyond.
Betrothed, yes. I have the same thing as Savor and Rainy, yes. But no, yeah, they've been busy. They realized that a clear and present danger is afoot. But now there's a third throwing their hand in there. And there's officially going to be a second generation.
Yep.
Trying to play
Two
Fortnite
different
with me.
versions, one being of birth and one being of bite. This is all a very fascinating time for werewolves. All besmirched with a kiss from a god, and that she represents and appreciates the power that she holds in this affair, but also gives some of it back because of the power she's going to be getting from the appreciation and worship of this new full moon by these people.
Are the half werewolves the ones being born going to be more powerful than the real?
Oh, we're gonna find out, bud. We've got years and campaigns from this point forward to deal with that.
Okay.
There's like a werewolf RPG that's out there that basically explains the rules of like the percent chances of werewolfism, and it's basically like the average person like can actually give birth to a werewolf because there's like an X% chance that they're a wolfkin, and they have like the ultimate recessive gene.
Like the
that is
recessive
possible.
genes.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's like a whole ass thing about it where it's just like, no, it's a bloodline thing that we have to worry about, not just simply a bite thing. Power overwhelming.
Alright, Mac, I'm going to sit on a log for 6 hours and contemplate.
Who?
Korvac. We have to decompress after what just happened.
Well, where do you guys go from here? They need to go to the front. They got troops to lead. You're in the village.
Yeah.
You're either going with them to the next place or you're going back to where you need to be.
I think we're going back where we were supposed to be.
Your mother goes, "It is good to see you as always. You know that. And, we'll see you out there. And in better numbers and spirits."
It's been good seeing ya.
Kaylin grabs a quick smooch as she walked by, and she says, like, "We'll see you out there, yeah?"
We'll see ya.
And then they get teleported out. You two are back in the village again.
Yep.
And I teleport us back to Normandy.
Roll again! Roll again! Potentially fail again! And give me the power to make things
I
interesting.
almost rolled 2 D20s.
I mean, we could extrapolate.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
22.
Hey! That's less than what you needed.
But yeah, I'm burning quite a lot of high-level spells.
You have a lot of 9th level spells.
I have 2. Before.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the app won't let you just add spell slots willy-nilly, so I just added it as a 4th spell that I tick off first.
Roll me 2 d20s, please.
9 and 19.
Ooh, shit, dude. Alright, so you multiply those together. Hold on, sorry. 2 d10s. I'm sorry. Not 2 d20s. I was like 19? Yeah, 2 d10s. My apologies.
Two and 5.
Okay. That is much better. That's only 10. So you roll the 2, multiply them together, that's your percentage off you are. So if you're trying to travel 120 miles, 10% of that would be 12 miles off target.
Okay.
You're
how
traveling
far?
to travel much farther than that.
Yep.
You are somewhere in the middle of the desert.
No,
You were just like, got it! There's mountains off that way. There's also mountains off that way. Can't see anything else.
This Normir shore seems different tonight, doesn't it?
Did they pick it up? What happened?
I think I may have,
Normir has been destroyed and left but nothing but sand.
I think I may have fucked up.
Okay. Can you try again?
Yeah, I can try and teleport us again.
To be fair, if you get off target this time, you know,
Yeah.
10% of that journey is now just like a mile.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, it's right over there. Go ahead and roll those D100s again.
I just like, well, good luck, Hack.
I know how to get back there.
Almost. That's 300, right?
What would you do?
That'd be 003, wouldn't it?
I see. What is 30?
It's
That's 30
zero.
something.
0. This is 0.
So
And
that's 30.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you need to get higher than 25. So
He
30,
did it.
30 is higher than 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right back, right where you were, in the middle of the tavern. Your grog is still a little cold. There's a little bit left in the bottom that hasn't been swiped out yet. Basco's like, oh, you guys are back so soon.
Yeah, you know how we envision stuff in our head
All the time.
and then it just doesn't work that way because smarter people can figure it out better than
I
you.
pass the blame to Basco. You've missed a wonderful evening.
What happened?
Well, Stan begged Korvac to not kill him, pretty much.
Oh, you heard that? Well, it makes sense.
So most of the village did.
There was almost nobody left in the village at that time.
Anybody remaining in the village probably heard it.
No, just you guys. Yep. Just the important people. Maybe a few guards.
So, Stan made it abundantly clear that he's not trying to assert me. That my mom is
Well,
not.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
always good. I mean,
Yeah.
underlings just beg that of you. The amount of I've had such a problem with the
Mhm.
people underneath me. I just can't get a good read on them. Whether I should or shouldn't give them coffee.
Yeah. It also seems that maybe it's just how they present themselves.
Have you ever had somebody try to usurp you?
I don't think anyone can. I don't think that's how that works. I don't have a living relative.
Do you have a list of suitors?
I would have to, like, make something happen or pick someone, I think. I haven't.
Cinnamon.
It's actually
You know, I was thinking then Cinnamon, but then I was thinking that, like, because he couldn't really reproduce and he doesn't have a longer lifespan, I'm almost certainly gonna die before he does. I'm sorry, he's almost certainly gonna die before I do. Like, you know how, like, dogs are with you guys for a good chunk of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, not with me. Like, it's like a few days. Like,
I'm
it's
glad
just
that you see us as dogs.
No, that's why I said, like, with dogs, Mac. I didn't say you guys are like dogs to me.
It would be kind of funny to have.
You're like a sort of, person that you were told was only going to make it a few weeks. But you know what? They kept going. And by golly, they made it a few years.
That's our lifetimes, Pasco. You've already outlived humans.
Don't get me wrong. I know. That's why it's very cool that you've done that.
It's almost actually kind of good that you... Well, is it good? You didn't have to befriend somebody that was going to die before you yet.
Mac, sorry, Korvac.
No, wait.
From this point forward, that's all I can do. And not only that, not only do I know it because I'm an immortal druid, I get to see it
Yeah.
and get reminded of it every time.
Yeah.
That's why you have the fucking undead person.
What?
You won't see when they're gonna die because they're already dead.
I don't think I want to surround myself with the undead, Mac.
I don't think undead
That
can
would be-
reproduce.
Why did that have to do with anything that we're talking about?
To get an heir, da-di-da, what kind
No, I
of...
don't think we were talking about at that point having an heir. I think we were just talking about seeing people's lifespan.
Oh, okay.
Do you want rid of the eyes?
No. But at this point, the damage has been done. You can't peel a band-aid off.
We can maybe get you
Twice.
some robot eyes.
You can't build them. Yeah.
Look, Krathel and I, we're making peace with what we know. It's just going to be part of who I am now. Like you, casting 2 9th level spells a day. There's probably a more in-universe way of saying that, but I don't know how to do it. And you, being the werewolf daddy of a clan of scores of werewolves.
Yeah.
And you're going to know telepathically where most of them are in correlation to you at any given moment. That's going to be horrifying when it's more than just 4 people.
Yeah. Makes it kind of difficult for anybody to assert me if they were a werewolf.
That's what I'm talking about. We're not just, powerful. Like, we're more powerful than people that are powerful. We were the only people who were kings that were absolutely guaranteed to go. They were told they weren't going to send anybody else. That's, important.
Yeah.
Curator himself says that I can't see our deaths. Stuff's going on.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody, no regrets moving forward. Seems weird, but we're at that stage where we can't have regrets.
Roll perception for me.
With advantage?
Yeah. Malin approaches. Are you having to use fucking bardic inspiration?
Fucking Christ, 15.
That's all you needed to get. That's right. That's the DC. Congrats, you hit it.
He rolled a 1 on his fucking inspiration.
Dude, I'm rolling like ass today.
You hear a little something. And you go outside and out, walking sort of the main street, almost reaching the square, is a Darian, cocktail in hand, and he's got this sort of magical microphone in his hand that he's got with him. It seems to be his spell focus. And he's doing an Elvis-esque rendition of Summer of Love, It's the time of the season. And then it's just... The city's winding down, but like people on the street are sort of hearing it and pulling one another closer and holding each other tighter, and You see the occasional lamplight glow a little dimmer when he starts singing. And you, as a bard, can just see that he sort of is working his magic to put his glamour everywhere over the town, to sort of give a bardic inspiration to almost everybody, if that were to make sense. To let him know it's okay to love and be loved, even though there's probably going to be disaster tomorrow or the next day. Because at the end of the day, isn't that true every day? And he finishes and starts heading towards the tavern and sees you kind of like smoking your pipe, looking out the window, and he sees you and like gives a tip with his drink. We're always on duty, Mac. It ain't just about being the best and brightest and most shiny in the room. You gotta make the people feel good. And speaking about feel good, I'm gonna need something from a Dr. Feelgood, if you know what I'm talking about. And he walks in and gets another.
Just a stand-up guy. I'm gonna be really upset if he ends up betraying us.
Why don't you think someone's gonna betray us, Mac?
I thought you
Nothing.
said...
I wasn't in Mac. Anybody
Nothing makes you think something?
Anybody could betray us. Korvac. Korvac.
Oh, okay. I thought you thought someone was going to betray us for some reason.
Oh, no reason.
No?
Couldn't possibly have any foreknowledge of anything like that happening.
Oh,
No.
you know, it is probably Korvac. The Praetorian did offer him, and I just wanted to make sure there were more people under my banner.
Only I could have mother.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure the Praetorian, tried courting everybody.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Just like Korvac's like, he only asked me. I'm the specialist boy. I do have the dragon helmet. Who needs a crown when you have the skull of a dragon?
Guys, I turned the Praetorian into a werewolf.
He has no blood, so I'm going to say no.
It's all antifreeze.
That was what courses through his veins.
Oh, fuck! Jesus!
It's like eating pepper spray.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
Knight's still very young. We're talking 7:30. A sort of feast is being prepared. The mayor is coming in. Sal's Gould, Sam Smith.
Is his wife there?
No, she's busy. And just a meal's being had, dinner. It's all very social, very close-knit, very corporate. Everybody's sitting next to everybody's shaking hands, everybody's talking, everybody's sort of doing this. But at the same time, it's fueled not only just because, this is a corporate town and corporate-funded event, but just anxiety's high. Because everybody knows what tomorrow's doing. This is the adventure of all adventures for you guys, and it's dangerous, even with knowing what you're going to do. You're not out to stop the world, you're out to save time to stop ultimate loss of life, not even to win. Just to buy a few minutes to save more lives later. Everybody's a little uncomfortable from that alone, and everybody's trying to make things better. For now, you're the ultimate adventuring group, having the best meal the mayor could put on for you. And, of course, those who are important in town.
I'm gonna get myself a big old T-Rex T-bone.
T-Rex, like fucking Flintstones.
Yeah.
Yabba dabba doo. Like the table falls over.
Tastes like chicken.
Ah.
Come on, it's gotta be better than that.
There are giant tomahawks of meat of different variety. Some of them you think might be dinosaur. Go ahead and give me a nature check. and or survival, if you want to get in on this.
Yes.
22
18.
for nature.
You think you can find you think what you got is a nice T-Rex little tomahawk steak. You know you're eating dinosaur, but you're not 100%. You know, who knows what this is. There is a heavy emphasis on this sort of meat, as, you know, things are sort of drifting everywhere, and it's sort of like, hey, if we can eat this, you know, the soldiers can have the cattle and stuff like that. Like, it helps with the breakdown and helps spreads things out. There's a lot going on. The mayor sort of turns to you both. So, you know, what sort of things have you gotten yourselves into?
I mean, I guess really we should start where we left you off. Well, like what, a month
No,
ago?
no need. No. It's been almost, you know, a couple of months now.
It's when we came back to get Daisuke's body.
Oh yes, of course. I didn't really get fully filled in then, did I? You just sort of showed up and vanished again.
It was a little bit worrisome because when we came here to get his body wasn't actually there.
Yes, you made that very well.
Yes. Found out a guy.
You didn't fill in the grave either, so, you know, had to put workers on that again. And then, of course, you had to give them extra rations of water, and, you know, that was considered extra hard labor, so they got to get off early for the day, and...
Yes.
Sorry, we're a bit of a hurry. We did find out that he was raised.
I know, it's no problem with me, but, you know, the bean counters down the line. I have to, you know, make a point and send in an essay and about why production was slightly less today than some other things weren't. But, you know, greater good and all.
Does Castle Backstreet have to do that as well? Like every time we do a big fucky uppy, they have to send like a letter.
What
to
big
friends?
fucky uppy do you guys do? The only real loss in production that you had was that original assault on you guys, and that was pretty much defended by them, so they knew what was going on. But other than that, the mine's sort of been operating pretty much great, and I think that's because you guys don't operate it, if I'm being honest with you.
What about when Graf got poisoned?
Raph?
Raph got poisoned.
No, because Vaughn pulled double duty.
Okay.
Also, Raph's not in charge of the mine. Privens has their own people in there for that. Who do reside in your castle, but they have their own specific employees that send over the mine, because you guys just lease the land to them. The operation is theirs.
We somehow fucked this guy over more than we have our own castle. That's pretty amazing, actually.
Well, there's Clayton, who you fucked over more than everybody.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it all sort of comes back to you fucking the mayor eventually. But not Sam Smith's wife.
Yeah.
Who's having a great time. He does miss his wife right now.
Who's plowing her?
Well, there's nobody who's not here now, so, you know, it's tough to tell. Could be anybody.
What's the first man?
He would rip her in half.
Oh yes, I see a suitor has come.
Okay, Helga! No, the first man is sort of just sitting on the world's largest bar stool in the corner, just eating just a huge piece of steak.
Is he taking his helmet
Like a
off?
72-ounce, like, challenge sort of thing. And it's just like, Jesus Christ! No, he does not take his helmet off.
Just like passes it on.
No, it's Crusader style. He's got like a little sort of... Yeah, exactly. He's got a window. Tamlin sort of gives him a...
Yeah.
And he gives that like a night nod and then just sort of goes back to...
I have a T-bone steak of T-Rex.
I don't know. I said a tomahawk.
A tomahawk. Because I was just thinking, like a T-bone size or a tomahawk size, that would imply that we're eating baby T-Rex. So that'd be a pretty big...
What?
That'd be a pretty
That's
big...
not what tomahawks are.
I was saying the size of a fucking
fully grown
T-Rex
T-Rex.
would mean like the slice would have to be massive, is what he's I think referring to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're massive.
I was just wondering if I was eating like the veal of the desert or something.
No. You have just like a plate-sized steak on your fucking plate. Everybody's sort of like, alright. Halflings do eat a lot. You got that, a baked potato, like a loaded one, a few rolls.
Jug of wine, jug of water.
How does
Huh?
their economy work?
They own the farms.
We have
They,
some,
they eat their own supply.
we do have some of the best restaurants in the world in Grove Stand.
You do?
Well, yeah. People that like fucking eating are gonna probably invest well into their restaurants.
Ragdale kind of looks to you and just goes, there are people in Privence who I think would disagree with that statement, Mac. And then Tybalt goes, I think a people or two in Privence would also do the same.
Yeah. World renowned.
History check. I don't think I know a place in there. Not 20 though.
Holy shit.
Can I think of a really good place in Grovestead that I've
You've
heard
done a
of?
lot of trading. I mean, the fingers in Grovestead aren't too far apart. While yes, there are great places to eat in Privence, and yes, there are great places to eat in Bismuth, there's just something about people cooking with ingredients when they knew the cow.
Mm.
And people cooking with a cheese that they milked from a goat that they owned themselves. And then when the vegetables came from the garden, they made themselves. This isn't a group of people who've spent them best to get the best ingredients. They're working with what they've had their entire lives. And they love it.
Mm.
And there's just something about that food that's better than everything. And because of that, there's several places that you've traveled, and I mean, if there's a specific memory you want to have, like...
I honestly wasn't expecting to get a 20, so...
Yeah, I mean, you've been blowing these nat 20s on some pretty fun things. But no, there was a place called the Hog's Tusk when you were just traveling, and you know, you thought, these halflings, you know, it was one of the first times you were like, these halflings, they're not going to be able to fill me up. I'm a Goliath. I've been hunting my own food for some times. And then you were like, oh man, there's fucking pork belly. I've got bacon. I've got steaks. I've got pork pies. I've got, you know, all sorts of gravies and puddings. And like, we're talking it wouldn't be called Yorkshire puddings, but we're talking like with the drippings and stuff. Like, it was enough to make you cry. You didn't realize how decadent meat could be, and they kind of showed you how decadent meat could be, and that's where a lot of your sort of
Inspiration.
like a fusion almost. Like, it can be more than just me spinning a thing over a fire and calling it good cooking. Like, we can really get into it, and that's sort of where that came from. So do you? Yeah. Best in the world.
Fuck Harry Lodge, though. That place was awful.
Well, I would never stay in a Harry
Oh no,
Lodge.
that's very much an economy decision.
Yeah. Not a good business decision, whoever's made that.
I mean, anyone can offer a few strips of bacon and some pre-scrambled eggs.
Didn't the owner of it disappear recently?
I
Oh
imagine
no, he's still actively being investigated. He was on one of those ships that head west.
Oh.
Yeah.
probably just trying to jump ship on his failed endeavor.
He did take 75% of his life savings with him.
Interesting.
Isn't this a one-way trip?
Well, apparently. We
Well,
haven't
I
heard
mean,
from him.
maybe not a one-way trip if things are fine. The problem is a lot of the first ships haven't made it to the western side yet,
Right.
and they already had sent a few others, and about 0.25% of them have gone missing. So either we don't know how to navigate the ocean as well as we thought we did. Now that
What is divine?
our boundaries are gone.
Right. Right.
Sounds like there's divine intervention going on.
I mean, Tamlin goes and just goes, look, at this point, there are so many characters and boards and pieces. Like, if we were to make a military map of everything and just put it on, we wouldn't have any map to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a trap from an Eternal. It could be the Western Army hating us and making a blockade. It could be Malin killing them to make an undead army. It could be the World Serpent seeing him as a threat. Really, at the end of the day, people are looking into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've got a busy day today. Tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah.
But we should just enjoy the shit out of these deviled eggs
Yeah,
that
quite.
they have.
It's great that the devil made something so delicious.
Fawn just shows up. I made those eggs especially for you.
I pick up my pork pie sized for a halfling deviled egg.
Every deviled egg is like a Scottish egg to me. It's like an ostrich egg.
Well, the ostrich egg is probably like this big to him.
Oh my god, I once saw like a fucking, like it was, God, I forget what, it was something super fancy. I want to say it was like one of those fucking shows about like people on yachts and stuff. They did deviled quail's egg.
Ooh.
I'm like, God, the amount of like dainty sort of ultra like to make sure you crack a hard-boiled quail egg the right way, and it's just like, just give me deviled eggs. Like, I don't. Oh, you've made it smaller. Good, good. Your skills are good.
You have room in the fridge for my deviled eggs.
Right? Come on, stop. Leslie was trying to put on a dinner party to impress her then boyfriend at the time, and she was trying to get Ron to go because he's one of the most interesting people that you know. It's just like, how many courses will there be? And he's just like 4, and he's like 5, and he's like plus dessert. And she's like, okay, sure. He's like, all right. If I were to bring a large amount of deviled eggs with me and I wasn't willing to share with anyone, can you promise me fridge space? She's like, yes. He shows up later and it's not like a small plate. It's like a serving tray of deviled eggs. And he's just in the background while they're waiting for dinner to start, just eating his own deviled eggs.
My God.
My favorite is when they're in the strip club and he's just sat down doing a crossword.
He's eating biscuits and gravy at a strip club because they have a breakfast buffet doing a crossword puzzle.
Do you think he was like, we can't screw this kid up, I can only eat some egg?
No, the only person in that show that actually eats what they're eating is Chris Pratt. Like, Nick Offerman doesn't do that. Like, I mean, maybe occasionally, but like, Chris, like, Aziz Ansari, that bit that we like watched the other night where they had the competition on which is better, turkey burgers or hamburgers. That was the episode specifically. There's a scene where he's just scarfing down a hamburger, and you can tell the more they cut on him, he's eating a different hamburger. Like, they're like, hey, nobody's eating food on live television. You know, you eat it, you chew it, and then you spit it in a bucket that's like off camera on your like off to your side. But it's just like anything Chris Pratt puts in his mouth, he eats. So it was just like he's like he ate like 12 hamburgers in the take because it's multiple takes of the same scene.
Ow!
He was a big boy back then.
I love that he comes back ripped.
I just stopped drinking beer. How much beer were you drinking, Andy? A lot, I guess. I don't know. Let's get back into the game, shall we? Our fucking tangent ass.
He fucking so bad at it.
That's why it happens.
Time is an elf. Yes. Get back into it.
So, these deviled eggs.
They're delicious.
Darian sends, Mr. Mayor, I have to say thank you. Not just on me, but then, you know, the Privence Foundation, your corporation, all of that. Me as a person. Dynamite service. Everyone's been here. Lovely. And then you kind of see that he looks at like 1 or 2 waitresses. The service has been phenomenal. But seriously, downright everybody's been fantastic. Haven't had a better time. Thank you, Mr. Darian. Oh, Darian is fine. And he just sits down and just starts eating again. I don't really know what to say. I feel like just the other day we were a small mining town. Now Darian Dan's eating just the most gravy-covered steak in my presence, and you guys are back again, and kind of looks back at you guys again, the only surviving members of the Paragons.
Did you miss us?
Look, I'm not going to say that some of my worst days of my life were the days that I worked with you. But I will say my life will only be memorable because you were in it. So, win some, lose some. Can't have good times without bad times. There's a lesson to be had in here. But I'll reminisce about it when this is done, I think. Because goddamn, there's no time to slow down here.
No, understandable.
But, I mean, you all saved this town. I don't hate you. I don't despise you. I don't think you're bad. Not only does this town flourish because of you all, but at the same time, exist because of you all.
Yeah, we were a bit cocky and annoying back then. I can understand.
Back then.
We're perfectly cool and cute.
Yeah, we're pretty chill now.
Have you seen what you're wearing?
I know, the dragon's head. Pretty cool.
You wield the blood bristles, and you call yourself chill. Ortho had a hammer that came back to them, and we thought that was the coolest thing we've seen in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can instantaneously teleport yourself anywhere in the world, and are the first werewolf.
Yeah.
He can bend reality twice a day.
Yeah, again.
He commands the trees.
Be more.
Sort of, yeah, a little. Anything where the roots are. Yeah.
He convinces them.
I'm the mayor of a small town.
Yeah.
But now, it's a big town.
Exactly. And it's a town that's definitely on the map now.
Yeah. An invasion map.
Yeah.
I think it should be wise to start now.
Yeah.
Well, you're right.
Thank you, bud.
Guess I didn't consider it, but
No.
yeah.
Look.
You're probably gonna. I shouldn't say probably. Suffer some damages. Hopefully not, though.
Let me just tell you. The fauna and the flora of this area, our researchers have told me, well, they want to remain here.
Is that supposed to mean something? That druid stuff, Basco?
I'm just as interested as you are. What? Well, from what the researchers have told me, they're highly territorial.
Ah. So.
We've always carried a delicate touch when we send our people out. The more guard seem to gain or scare off more of them or attract unwanted predatorial movements, whereas smaller, higher trained people were able to move in and out unnoticed and sort of see them in their natural habitat. Marching armies know no quietness. Predators take to territorial invasion hostily. Prey take to it and run.
Mm. So, is this a double meaning? Are you saying here?
No, it's not a metaphor.
Okay then. So the point is that you're saying is that this is going to be they're going to probably not intentionally but assist in slowing down the army and also be a hindrance to us as well, since there's quite a few of us walking that way.
No, you all will be traveling through the desert outside. We know how to get you past. That's not a problem. No, that's not the concern at all.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is when the army gets here.
Okay.
You're looking too deep into metaphor. I'm talking specific.
Okay.
When they come, the prey will get out of the way, and the predators will respond hostilely.
Hmm.
We're talking packs of, we call them Velociraptor,
Ah.
will interfere. And then, of course, the Godzillas,
Mm-hmm.
they themselves, they will take to that in the highest regards, especially anytime large-scale combat or battle occurs. That always brings their attention.
Plan on using Sizzix in bits and bobs of.
Our fights, but wonder if I should. You think there's a way to use Sizzix to help guide the other Velociraptors?
I don't know the word you're saying.
Sorry, it's a
You do your thing.
yeah, it's a Velociraptor that I've captured.
Get your power word bowl.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could absolutely, if he could teach the others, that would be, worth a shot, yes. You all, do you have a plan?
Yes. Very, very much so.
You do. We have a plan. Just beat up the heads. I figured.
Yeah. We're gonna throw our army into it and hope it works out.
Come on, you can
Well,
think better than that.
what we know so far is that Commander Dijon will make a line for you all to retreat upon, and then with a detachment of troops here, another line will be for you all to retreat back to here, and then army v army.
Yes.
Yeah, so, find a protective line here, my city. My time to shine.
Yeah. It's a shame it has to be that way, but
No,
it is your time to
no.
shine.
I'm more than willing to rise to the occasion. I am a company man, and as long as things stay that way, this will look really good on, the CV.
Oh, I mean, like if this all pans out for the best.
Oh, yes.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Yeah, I might, have my position on the Council of Brigands one day. Maybe.
Probably, actually, if I had to say so.
Hold on.
Which person do I have to murder for this to happen?
No, there's a very specific person in charge of his department. I did the research. The council people weren't just people with names. They all had the thing that they were in charge of.
Cinnabons were already in there.
Okay. I mean, Sylvan Theraphill does run, mining. And, elves do historically live longer than, humans.
Yeah. But what if you were like,
Alright, Shaggy.
Whatever
you like, getting out of here, dude.
Machine keys.
Jeez. What? What were you?
Oh, man.
Oh, wait, no, there was also a dwarf that's also involved in that. So he's probably gonna die sooner.
Make room.
Could also be the taverns guy. That's a human.
What about a like?
So there's Vandry, who's in charge of wine.
Yeah.
You know them. You have had his wine. Orgrin Battletooth, the half-orc who's in charge of the mercenaries department of their business practices. Bran Fordrefor, who's the dwarf who's in charge of weapons. Erlin Quensleth, who's the human. He's in charge of taverns and gambling. Sylvan Therafil has a mining company. She's a high elf. Gamlin Tordo also is a dwarf. He is in charge of mining as well. They sort of share a sort of vested interest in that. Thatch Davlin is sort of enchantments, art, and furniture. That is a halfling. And then Mentor Ramin, a tiefling. He oversees the department of the colleges, animals, and I think that's like astrology and stuff. Basically, the intellectual side of Privens.
Okay.
So, any one of those, if an opening presents itself.
Should we go get one of them? Yes. We know this guy.
It's strange. One of them just died last night.
Hey, good news, bud.
He was stabbed in the chest by some sort of spear-shaped object, and all the blood was drained out of him.
They won't be able to trace that back.
we don't know what happened. It could have been anything.
No blood, no evidence, right?
I don't think anyone has ever said that. Ever.
We could just put the bag of holding over his head.
Just seal it shut. We're the good guys. We're the good guys.
Guy just fucking, being choked to death because the bag of holding's on his head. We do good work out here, don't we, boys? Because Korvac and Vasca would have a hand in this. Technically, that means Privens has declared war on both of you.
No, we declared war on them unofficially.
Yes, but we have the potential to drone strike them.
Hey. We're talking about good stuff here on our stream, huh? Drone striking people. Things are good.
What would constitute as a drone strike in our universe?
Meteor swarm. What's that called? It's meteor swarm, right?
It's Meteor Swarm.
Yeah.
We have Vincent up there. Maybe he has a missile or two attached to him.
Oh yeah, maybe she just gotta ask at this point.
Hey, could you drone strike Malin for us, Vincent?
Who else got a chicken chalupa?
Me.
Nice.
Are you getting the chicken chalupa combo?
I always get the chicken chalupa combo. Look at this Galumba.
You should make sure to get your power word bowl.
Galumba.
What'd you get in it?
Galumba.
I'll just put in special instructions, Galumba.
Galumba?
If anything is missing from our order, we will come down and shoot up your store.
Hey, calm down.
We're live on stream. Please don't make your intent clear like that.
Yeah. Hey, well, don't say intent's clear. That makes it worse. Having fun on a podcast.
In Minecraft.
Oh, okay, we're good now.
I don't understand. I said it in Minecraft. Oh, God.
I like when you look at your glasses and you realize there's a million micro scratches on it.
Yeah. It's the grain of the glass. Right? How many rings does it have?
What are you trying to count the age?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot. That's the nature of glasses, and it's not like you ever see it anyway.
Yeah. Do you think there's a guy that's held the glasses so long that they're kind of already melted off?
What?
Well,
What?
glasses are liquid. I've seen window panes that have reached that point. And I'm wondering if guys had glasses that long. They are all kind of like congealed to the
Oh, well, like
bottom.
where it droops?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
My grandmother's windows are like that. That's crazy. It's the first time I figured that out. Gotta be careful on what cleaning the glass on the top. You might just punch right through.
Look at this chicken chalupa.
What the fuck? Oh, it's a Che.
Alright. Chicken chalupa combo with a soft taco.
With potatoes? Me.
Yes, I see that one. So both of ours are there. Cinnamon Delights. Crunchwrap Supreme with seasoned rice.
Me.
Doritos Cheesy Gordita Crunch Nacho Cheese.
Me.
Fiesta Veggie Burrito.
Me.
Fire Sauce Packets. That's for everybody. Nachos Bel Grande is me. Power Word Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And then a spicy soft taco for me. Everybody got their stuff called out?
Yep.
Okay. How's Grant though holding up?
What do you mean?
What, has he got like 2 days left?
Go ahead and roll insight.
Pretty fucking high. That's a 25.
Given what you know, 2 days and change, starting tomorrow,
Yeah. But
he
he's
seems to be unfazed.
the man.
He knows. And it's obvious that he knows. But he perseveres onward. He doesn't seem to be faced by it. He doesn't seem to be in delusion. He seems to be in acceptance.
Where's Ravengar hanging out?
He's sort of in that table of like not important or famous people. So like non-political, like, you know, you don't need to be in the limelight sort of. You know, he's with his Rainies, the Naslin, you know, that sort of. You okay?
Yeah, because I got my glasses.
I think I'm gonna get on over to Ravengar,
Okay.
as he is my new best friend.
Of course. Rainey looks up to you. Oh, and to what do we owe the pleasure?
I just figured I'd see how everybody's doing on this table.
Raven looks up, big thing of grog in his hand. Food's good here. This, new form of meat's not bad.
Yeah, I'd say it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I might be going up for second soon. Sit down, pull up a bit, tell us a story.
The story.
Naslin sort of like,
Oh, what story should we go on?
don't overthink it. Just,
I'm
you know,
well,
what's going on with you?
Well, I've was recalling the time that we saw the Quetzalcoatl and the Phoenix. That's the one that came to mind. It was quite a feat we had to pull off. protect us from all the lightning and fire that was going on in a storm. Our crew couldn't get very close, so me and Mac had to be held by a Belrog for a couple of seconds. Mac fared worse than me, obviously, but pretty
What is
toasty.
it? Fire?
Yeah. Imagine being held by a being made of fire, almost, you know.
A demon, yeah. How'd you fare?
Well,
No casualties?
no casualties.
How close to the beast could you get? I know with the Vulcan, we can't even keep guards in the room. It's too hot. It would
Right.
be considered cruel.
Let's just say the storm was so strong, and they were far away enough we could barely see a silhouette of them. So we're talking still a ways, and their voice,
Thunderbolts,
yeah,
lightning,
all that,
very frightening.
quite. Are you okay? You like that thunderbolt and lightning quip?
That man was afraid of lightning.
So every time they spoke in unison. It was almost deafening.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Eternals,
Yeah.
damn near gods, walking around.
Yeah.
Same Earth we are.
Yeah.
We should realize how big the world is, how small we are.
How much?
Yet people are talking about us and not them.
How much did the Vulcan? Because it's always resided in, well, your city. They didn't tell you anything. Like tell you about the rest of the world. They kept it a secret.
No. There are those of us who have always been in the know, you know that.
I mean,
It's been a unanimous decision among the elite. Are you okay? To keep things quiet until it becomes more obvious for the rest of the world. I mean, that's sort of how this all got started, right? Someone showing when the world wasn't ready, and now we've cascaded, and now we're here.
right. Just figured someone being so close to an eternal probably had the most knowledge his own. It's quite amazing that nobody figured it out. Well, the outside world didn't figure it out until now.
That's the power of being in the know, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you look back, how come no one knew? An endless font of lava, constantly making magic, was supposed to just believe the statue's powerful? No one ever looks beyond the veil, do they?
No. Sure, you got your own stories.
You talk to a being that old. It's tough, it's sweltering. But he has his stories, and they're good to learn and hear. I'm important enough that people will talk about me in the history books. I don't think it is me being unhumble. It would be dishonest of me to say that that is true. An orc in charge of dwarven security, sending on this mission, people will know of me.
100%, man.
Even with that knowledge, I still feel tiny, standing next to a being like that. For even though I will be known for our humanity, or at least for a large portion of it, the fraction that I will be acknowledged or remembered being will be shadowed by the existence of a being that has already existed that much further before my birth. He'll know of my children, my grandchildren. He'll know of yours. He'll know if we've succeeded or failed. That's what the Eternals do. But yet somehow, in a world where something that I can say hello to, or tell to pass a message to my great-great-great-grandchild, and know in full confidence that it could exist long enough to do so, people will still know the name of Ravengar. Well, if that's possible, what isn't?
I mean, a lot of things that considered being possible are definitely possible now. More things will be possible after this.
The more we do, the less we know we haven't done.
It's crazy how that works. The more you learn, the less you know.
There's always more to do, and never enough time. These Eternals have been alive for longer than we've even thought about our own clans. And they haven't gotten it right. Kinda gives you hope. There's no getting it right. It's just doing what you can. Naslin kinda goes, I couldn't put it better myself. Raven looks like, so firearms, your thing, huh? Well, I don't mean to brag, but I'd say that Nathaniel Boleyn has sort of taken everything from me. No matter how good a gun works, it can never be as beautiful as a good sword was to me. There's just something about a weapon you wield in your hand. The power of it. Sort of beauty in it. Sort of lost in a mass-produced, long-distance weapon like that. What do you think?
Have we even reached the point where that is mass-produced?
What do you think Dejan's walking around with his soldiers?
Alright.
It's the first batch of sort of a prototype, producible, breech-loaded.
Alright, so... I mean... That's almost two different aesthetics that you're worried about.
I
Obviously...
wouldn't say worried about, but...
Well, I was saying comparing mass-produced versus created by an artisan. Obviously, the artisan's work is going to be the superior. And then, of course, the difference between a ranged weapon and a weapon you get nice and personal with.
Naslin goes, oh, there's a beauty in mass production, though, is there not? Just because mass-produced doesn't mean minimalist. There's style in production as well. Just because not everyone follows that suit doesn't mean that that's not a truth. I mean, look at my weaponry. You saw Rainey's old weapon. You saw Tristan's old weapons. I could make those on an assembly, but they were beautiful in their own right, yes?
Right. Which goes by with what I said. They're beautiful in their own right because they're individual and handcrafted.
But I could have mass-produced them and made them look the exact same way. You don't have to be minimalist just because you're mass-producing. That's just being lazy. You're doing it just because it's easy.
I suppose it's maybe just the knowledge that that someone spent a lot of time and care onto it. But then again, you still have that same knowledge about the original blueprint for the mass-produced one.
Yeah. That's why it's called the limited run. That's why the Brainies, Tristans, theirs were always going to be special. That's why I can't, gestures to her, be a little envious of the new carry-on she's wielding.
Ah.
It'd be foolish not to take a weapon from beyond our capabilities.
I mean, yes, 100%.
As much as I'd like to take it and rip it to pieces, and
Figure it out.
that'd be more disastrous than just embracing it for what it is right now. A weapon. It's not a blueprint. It's probably for the best that way.
How long do you think before you can start pulling off something like that?
I think we lack the efficiency to do anything like that. To create the machines to make something of that mass producible, the resources would bankrupt most nations currently. Raimi, pipes in. This one's not for sale. Just to make that clear.
Oh, I figured. The whole... Have you been able to mess around with it by any chance?
Oh, I've had my fun with it. I know exactly how to use it.
Alright. Like to see that on our side instead of getting shot by it.
I imagine, as long as it's not pointed at you, it's a good day, sugar.
Yeah. Speaking of... Oh, God.
How much time we go with left button?
Rainy, speaking about that weapon.
Is this 10:35?
Oh, okay, so nobody's like in line to pick it up yet or anything?
There is somebody selected, a champion of sorts.
Oh, sweet. Are they in line or are they on the way?
They've gotten further away from the Taco Bell, which concerns me.
Good. But they still say 10:35.
Yes.
Okay.
But outside of Rainy, I think I would probably be the second person in this room to know how that thing works, or how powerful it is, as I was shot by it many times.
Well, to be fair, you were shot many times for the last one, too.
Yeah, I was.
So were you. Well, both of them, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you weren't
Well-
there. My apologies. Fuck. Sorry. You're sitting at the big boy table.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't join you.
He's sitting at the
Just yells it across the room.
Yes, I also was shot!
Oh, man.
I'll go back to being quiet.
Wreak havoc with that thing, will ya? Can't wait to see it.
Roll insight real fast.
Well, 21.
There's nothing I wouldn't do more. There's something about her. She absolutely, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's time.
Mm-hmm. Figured. I'm glad to hear that she's gonna be like the active, like blowing shit up basically with this gun.
Oh, you
Okay.
alright, bud?
Mhm.
You've been like, oh.
I'm just curious in where he's going. He's completely gone the opposite direction.
But I was kind of worried that she was gonna be designated the. All right, we drag out the leader and she takes the shot kind of thing, like just to pick one guy off. I'm glad to see her that she's probably gonna be making more moves than that.
Well, you know, once you guys get out on the road, you can make those sorts of combat decisions when you're away from everybody. Because you got one more night of camping
Yeah.
on the road before you hit the Feywilds.
Yeah. Speaking of moving on, has anybody been to the Feywilds? Probably.
You know that's no.
Not possible. Nobody. Okay.
Who
Well-
here has also been?
Well, he was having that conversation. Was there anybody in your group that you wanted to be having a conversation with? Or anybody in the group that you wanted to be having a conversation with? Because it's only fair.
I'd like to approach Nesmith.
Okay. You know, he's having, dinner with a few people. The Paragons are around there. There's a few others. Thoreau and such.
Just wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your gift yesterday.
Ooh, I mean, I wouldn't call it a gift. It was sort of promised to you.
Well, true, but it was very enjoyable.
Hey, thank you for giving me the performance.
Kind of leaning closer. You don't have access to him anymore, do you? Or do you?
Look, kid, I don't have any further access. What I have done is I had access to him for pretty much all the years that the Simulacrum was out traveling. I got a lot in backup, if that makes any sense.
How did you meet him?
Random exploration. I was looking through worlds, and I looked through another one, and I looked through another one, and I looked through another one. And I got so burnt out and disregarded and just didn't give a shit and so bored with everything in life that looking at other realities just got so boring. It was next one, next one, next one, next one, next one, next one. And eventually, I bumped into the big guy. And he knew things that the other ones didn't. And he said some things that straight up changed a lot of reality to me.
What did he tell? What did he say to you?
Yeah. Not personal. Too personal for me to just say and it to make sense to you, if that makes any sense. The stuff about life and upbringing that only I would have known. And future that makes too much sense for it not to be true, but too obscure for you to naturally predict.
Really?
And then he just started playing music. Because who doesn't like music? It's the best way to transform medium and thought. That's why us bards do what we do, isn't it?
Exactly. It's there's something familiar about that song that you gave me, but it sounds completely different.
That's what we do. Transcribe it from one to another, make it our own. That's how we make it fit for our universe, even though it's not from ours.
At this point, I've sat down and got myself some wine. Hey,
I mean, I think you said you had a jug of it earlier, so...
Constitution.
what do you have plans for? What do you have planned for your future, Nesmith?
I'm not. And I think that's what's important now. I'm gonna go home and be with my family once this is done. As long as there's a place for them in this world when it's over.
He said the line.
What?
It's gonna die. He said the line. I'm gonna go home after this.
Just on the chopper. I retire after this! This is it! Can't wait to go home to Windy! Here's my family! We got a nice place out in the hills, it's gonna be good!
I love living.
As soon as the helicopter lands.
I know one day, I'll be the, head of the Glamour College. It'd be really cool if you'd come visit and maybe, help me inspire the next generation.
Kid, you've shown me that I wasn't part of this generation. I think ultimately that was the problem.
I mean, there's still wise things that you would know.
Yeah.
I don't think you're just a, broken down machine that's ready to be
No,
retired.
no, that's not what I'm saying. But I think we're further out of touch than you think.
Just how old are you? Exactly.
Centuries, kid, centuries. But at the same time, the concept of our morality, what I thought was cool was just been lethargy. What I thought was bliss was just pollution. We've all got lessons to learn, and yes, I've got things to do. I've got things to say, and I've got things to do, but I think the focus on that needs to be where it should have been when it was still fresh and they were still alive. And I think now with this new body and with a new family and them coming back, I think that's where I want to spend it. Being the father and husband I should have been. I can be a reference and I'm still going to be releasing music, and that's the point, but let's keep me a guest speaker at best, if that makes sense.
The only other thing, me and Darian kind of joked about it last night, but I think it would be, if once all this is said and done and, Pangier is all good, we were joking about throwing a concert and going on tour. I think it'd be cool to do a celebration, concert for us winning.
We could do a world tour, sure. I think everyone would be. Well, no one would have a fuss about that. By any means.
Gotta do it while we can. Once, I know.
People will need a reason to celebrate afterwards, I imagine.
Kinda was said to me the other day, but what do you this is a weird question, but how would you want to die? Where do you want your life to end? Because when we were asked that question, I was honest about it. I do want to, die on a Mac Fleetfoot vineyard surrounded by my loved ones at the age of 167 or however old I can get.
In bed, sleeping. I just cuddled down with my wife. The kids have visited, they've grown up. They've got little ones of their own. They visited recently or have just gone home. I just got to see the grandkids. I've curled up to my wife, kissed her to sleep, and I drift off to sleep. Just like every other night. Except that time I don't wake up. I've made it there. Everything's alright.
How many red flags did you say is on him now?
You gotta go home, Nesmith. Sorry.
Go! Out now!
Get out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Don't worry, guys. You put me right here where everything's fine. And it's just like the back door that the Praetorian uses to get in. Oh, hey, bad news, bud.
No!
You put him right where he needed to be.
Do you consider the... I imagine you consider the Paragons to be a bygone era now.
So does the rest of the world, kid. Tybalt sort of speaks up.
No,
So-
you will speak when I tell you, dog!
There are some of us that still see it as the villains, it appears. Understandably so.
I think that will change in time.
I'm nothing. I was the image of prestige and wealth. Most of the people here know I don't have any. I don't have power. The fear that came with my name was lost when my side lost. I can't even pick the winning side.
See. It's hard for me to think of a good answer to this because I'm like, I could be like, well, I mean, you know, how could you did in your world pick the winning side? Because how would you expect us to? I'm like, that is like fucking punching the wound kind of thing.
Yeah.
And how would you see your preferred death, Tybalt?
Exhaustion. Maybe 5th round of an orgy. 2 different tits in my hand. Wine in my belly.
Death by snoo snoo.
I've lived a long life. When all you do is an adventure, what becomes mundane? It's been, you know, ups, it's been downs, it's been wild, it's been extravagant, it's been quiet. Sometimes it feels like you're not supposed to. I mean, there's just a part of you that goes on these adventures that makes you feel that that's what you're sort of meant to pass doing. But, you know, we're all coming up to that time. And honestly, me personally, it's just... the threat of non-excitement scares me more than anything. And the fear of not being looked up to at the end is deafening. And he goes back to eating and drinking.
All right, then. And I will turn to Graf, and I will say the same thing. And Graf, how about yourself? You've had a lot of upheaval in your life. Where do you see yourself?
Killed by something bigger than me, hopefully. It'd be really embarrassing if it was something smaller than me.
Wow. I mean, that's a great outlook. I mean, you could have said, you know, dying for your family.
No, it was just something bigger.
Do you have an idea of what that bigger thing may be?
Another Tarrasque? Dying killing a Tarrasque would be cool.
They're quite formidable.
Yeah. Something tells me that there's, you know, things out there still undiscovered. Unconquered, unhunted.
You and Korvac have a lot in common, actually.
Kindred spirits. The world alike, that's, common aspiration after all.
Where did you grow up, Graf? How did you become an adventurer?
Barbarian, hanging around the grove, attached to nature, appreciative of the hunt. Eventually, it's not just deer, it's bigger animals, and then owl bears, and then dragons, and then more, and then more, and then things you can't take alone. And then other people join you, and then you're part of a team.
Were you always part of the Paragons, or did you have a group before?
Everyone had a precursory team. Some place to shine, yes. But I granted the powers of the totems. I don't want to say I outshined those I was formerly with. But we are clearly destined for other things. And moved on. 100 different paths. Martiketh eventually found me and pulled me with him. Some people resent the power that you have if they think you're stronger than them. And that's life sometimes, and then you just move on. Martiketh took me in.
What would you say was the call of adventure? What got you to join Martiketh?
It was Martiketh. The chance to be the best of the best. The adventuring party.
Did he ever talk about himself?
Occasionally. But leaders tend to do their own thing.
Nesmith goes, he was quiet about the before times. But from what we could tell, he was already pretty old by the time he got to us. So you're kind of joining him again at this point.
Let's take a gulp of wine. It's strange. I feel like I've only ever learned about Martiketh after his death. Like, he's always been an enigma for me because I've only ever known him as the evil Martiketh, and only what I know from him through stories. But studying his notes and hearing about him through, different sources, it almost makes me sad for him because he used to be a really good man. It felt like a husk we killed.
What's a few months in the course of over 1,000 years?
Blink of an eye.
A swan song. We can only ever hope ours is kindness, kid.
I don't want him to be remembered in history as a tyrant or someone who was evil.
I don't think they would. You still have all his other stories, his greatness.
He did make a floating head of himself, declaring an enemy of state to everybody, and then burning and killing dissidents.
Do you think everybody's gonna extrapolate from the very beginning that was his plan?
It's still what this generation's gonna remember. There are humans that are alive that weren't alive when he was starting it as adventure.
Right.
When he was younger. I mean, younger. But there are beings that are dead that weren't even alive during the beginning of his adventuring. Osisic group. His flag note, his keynote is his focal point will be this. And by extension, the Paragons as well.
I feel like I could spend a lifetime looking through his spell book and still barely feel like I scratched the surface.
That's power, isn't it?
Just look at Basco. He replicated Mardukev's eyes, and look how it's affected him just over nearly a week. Imagine that over the span of however long Mardukev had those eyes. He saw when his friends and family were going to die.
And they still thought he was doing what was best for them. To Mardukov.
So Mardukev.
Mardukov.
Mardukov! Everybody does it down. How are we looking, bud? Because that seems like a good place to end it.
He is heading his way.
That seems like a good place to end it in my book.
Yeah.
Winding down, getting ready to set foot on the journey to battling the forces that be.
We'll have a press day next week.
Josh, you seem like you got a lot on your mind, bud.
I do.
Shame. What? It's just like loading a gun. Shame.
Shame it will be forgotten by next week.
Did you get your die out of here?
Yeah.
Did it roll better after that?
I don't think I rolled a dice after I took it out.
That makes sense.
It's been heavy role play.
Yeah. Not really much going on. Just sort of talking before the calm before the storm.
Exactly.
Talking, fucking, watching fucking.
That,
Watching fucking.
that completely came out of it. I was like, let's just talk to the Paragons. This is a good chance to. And then I'm like, I remember that question in Shakurn's tower. I did
Drinking contest?
Well, I was just looking at it. I'm like, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be able to, get any blood out of them in regards to Mardukev's prior life, but like, just understanding Mardukev more.
Did you feel like you gained anything?
He was respected by the rest of the Paragons, and I do get the feeling that they miss him.
Well, there's also the fear that he's only going to be remembered as a bad man.
Yeah.
And then, by extension, themselves, which means they're also probably questioning their own mortality. Because shit's about to be pretty dark and bad coming up, so that's what people think about in times like this.
It almost makes me want to write an autobiography of Mardukev after all this is said and done.
I'm sorry, an autobiography of another man?
Sorry, just a regular
He could if
biography.
he true polymorphed himself.
And that is how the baby of Mardukov was formed. It was him all along. You became the baby of Mardukov. It's new Mardukov!
It's
Give
so
me your
fucked
character
up.
sheet, your Mardukov
If
now.
that ever came out that the guy that fucking wrote Mardukev's biography also fucking rebirthed him as a new man.
Hey man, this is a fucked up biography.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, Mardukev 2 is coming soon.
Is there anything else we need to think, discuss, thought of? Anything on the precipice of our minds?
It's okay, bud. Your mother is allowed to love.
Oh, yeah. Also,
Please don't execute me, please.
I really like your mom,
But
and I'm gonna continue fucking her, I think.
I would really like this to be a regular thing. Excuse me.
like on a cycle monthly.
Why specifically monthly? Daily, actually.
As much as I can.
I can-
Sten needs his candy.
Ray, I think I can schedule you in for next Thursday at 3:45 p.m.
My dearest Foray, I lust for you eternally, and I'm thinking about you post tense. Yes. He's like an old-timey war general.
He has like a fucking pin up of Korvac's mom doing like the fucking like what is it like the famous like Air Force picture of the woman leaning up against the airplane. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But with werewolves.
Yeah.
Just straight up killing people. Ah, that's my girl. Alright, and on that, we'll leave you with thanks.
Thank
Toodaloo, you
you
mind hitting that in stream button?
thank you for